So far, the crew has cleared every hurdle naysayers have placed in their way. Columbus would be home to one of the 10 inaugural teams. Columbus has outperformed much larger cities. The true success indicator has been from the fans.
Well, it's boys' night out.
Hello and welcome to the club. I'm your host Mars, and this is the Upper 90 Club, a roundtable podcast where one friend is in the Caribbean, another is drinking beer in Utah. A couple are in New York with Michael from Crew York, where we watched the home game against New York, but from New York at Banter Bar. That's where the rest of this episode was recorded. I assume Trey was giving snacks to his family while trying to watch the game on TV, or maybe he watched it delayed, as I did. Anyway, looking forward to hearing all of the discussions on the goals from this week's game. And until next week, go Crew.
Okay, thanks, Mars. That was a great introduction that we totally knew about. We are in New York City, boys.
New York City.
New York City!
New York City.
We're on day, what, 3? 3 of this, too? It feels like...
2.5.
Yeah. The city that doesn't sleep, is that what they call it?
I don't think so.
I don't know. All right, well, we're going to try to document our entire kind of day run up to the game. So we are at our Airbnb now, and we are going to head towards... Where are we eating?
It's called
Havana.
We're going to Havana.
Havana
Outpost.
Tacos only.
I think they have corn on the cob only. I feel like that's what it was.
I'm pretty sure they have both.
Almost
cob life.
Almost impossible to say. And then we are headed to what? Banter and to meet up with the Crew York guys. So that should be a lot of fun. We just got done watching Cincy here. Tie at the end of the game.
And it's 1-1 Minnesota LA right now.
Daggone. Did Christian Ramirez score?
I didn't see who scored.
Yeah, he almost did. So that's fun times. That's good times.
Yeah.
Well, we are excited. Well, let's go ahead and introduce kind of our people. We got Haas. What's up, Haas?
Hello.
He's drinking coffee and alcohol. And then we have 2 new faces to the pod. Alex and Adam. And even Alex brought his Crew jersey.
I'm repping.
Which was super surprising this morning when I woke up and you were wearing it. I was like, oh yeah, we're doing that. Completely forgot. We went and saw Refuse last night. How about that?
Woo!
What'd you guys think? Quicksand, probably better band?
I was there to see Quicksand, so I'm a little biased.
Okay.
That's a hard one to put up against each other. Quicksand and Refuse.
Yeah, kind of apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Quicksand brought it, though. I think they're actually from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Quicksand killed it.
Fun. Venue was crazy.
The venue, Brooklyn Paramount, you have to go. It is like, I would say, twice the size of Newport.
Oh,
but like Newport
ornate.
Like feels, because it's like a venue. Like, what am I trying to say? Cathedral.
It's like an old theater that they've since converted into a music venue. And so there's a lot of like ornate detail in the ceiling. The lighting is really cool.
Super cool.
It had the nice slope to the.
It has
the
a
general admission floor.
Yeah. So if you're in the back, you can still see the stage.
Yeah.
It's a cool venue.
It was sweet.
I love it.
They have a really excellent beer and shot deal. I did too many of those.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also true.
I was forced to do Jim Beam. I didn't know that Jameson was an option.
So you weren't forced to actually do it?
She made me.
Okay. All right, we've heard that before. All right, well, we're not going to document that stuff. We're just kind of, I am not even sure if these mics are going to work. We bought them right before we left. So I sure hope this works out. If not, we're just 4 guys talking in an Airbnb and look like a turd.
That's kind of like normal, right?
Yeah, totally normal. Not a big deal. And this place isn't haunted, so that's not a big deal. All right, well, next you hear about us, I'm going to try to sneak talking on the subway. Great. And then just be like a psychopath.
I don't think you have to sneak it. I think we can just talk on the subway.
You can just do it.
We were in that silent car the other day.
Am I holding this microphone?
No one was talking?
It did
very
feel
close.
like we were in a library.
It feels close. I feel like I'm talking. Yeah, I've held a microphone before. For some reason, we're sitting at a table and I'm holding it like.
I feel like we're on a game show.
Yeah,
and you're the
Quiz
host.
me.
What do you say?
Don't worry, I'm not shaking.
Yeah, this is a problem. All right, next time you hear us, we should be at the bar, possibly on the subway being a psychopath, but probably at the bar interviewing Crew York. So we'll be right trap. All right, we are here at Banter Bar. Made it, barely. Barely. We were hoping there wasn't going to be that many people and we'd snag a small booth, but that doesn't seem to be the case because of the NCAA tournament. But I'm here with Michael. Say hi, Michael.
What's up, everybody? What's up, Columbus?
Welcome to the pod.
Happy to be here.
Start with Crew York. You guys started this year, right?
No, last year was
year.
like our inaugural season. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. How did it explain how you got started? Like, what became a Crew fan? Were you from Columbus? That whole
So I'm born and raised in living New Yorker. And
really?
Yep. And
This doesn't make any sense now.
I know it makes no sense, but what happened was I'm a journalist, and I got assigned to do an article about the Nordeca, and
What?
I grew up in New York, like I said, in the 80s, 90s, and soccer just was not a thing like here in New York at that time, especially.
It was in Jersey.
So I was always like a big football, baseball fan, basketball, hockey, all that stuff, but never got into soccer, didn't have really any friends that were into soccer. But, when you're a journalist and you write about when you do human interest stories, it's like you don't have to be an expert on the source. You become an expert on the source,
right,
and then you tell the story. So I pitched this story about the Nordeca to a publication called Inside Hook, and on Inside Hook's dime, I went to Hell is Real at home at LDC 2 years ago, and just sat with the Nordeca in a sold-out LDC, and it was just like an unbelievably amazing experience.
Do you remember who you were with from the Nordeca at the time?
I do, yeah. No, very, very well. And he and I are still in touch. Chris Lamacchia.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, Chris. He was basically
mortal enemy.
He was basically like my kind of like liaison, and guide while I was out there. And he kind of one of the big things was he kind of told me a little bit about like how to watch soccer. Because, like, if you're just kind of, like, sitting around waiting for goals, you're going to probably be pretty bored.
You're going to go sleep.
So he gave me a couple of tips, and between that and just kind of standing in front of the Nordeca when Zelarayan, like, shot, like, a set-piece pass into Cucho, and he knocked it home for a header, like, literally right in front of me, and then just the Nordeca just erupted behind me, I was instantly hooked. So what happened next was I just fell in love with the Crew. Continued to follow them here from New York, and when we reached the final the next season, it's
such a good time to get involved in the Crew.
The
people we're with currently, that's when they kind of started, and it's like, it hasn't always been like this, but this.
Yeah, but I just fell in love with the sport, and like whether the Crew were going to be good like the next year or not didn't really matter. But then the Crew wind up making it all the way to the MLS Cup final, and In the year and a half or so after that, like between those two times, I also started following the Premier League. I started following La Liga. Like I became totally hooked on football and soccer. So I became aware of Banter Bar as like one of the kind of go-to soccer bars here in New York.
Yeah, it's 100% a soccer bar.
And I just posted on social media. I was like, hey, if there's any Crew fans in the New York City area, let's meet up and go watch the MLS Cup final.
Right.
And I think we had like 12 or 15 people, some people that were transplants, some people that were from Columbus and living in Columbus but just happened to be in New York that weekend.
Yeah.
And it just kind of blew up on the massive Reddit. And, we had like 12 or 15 people here. And then we won the Cup, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I just kept posting online like the next season, which was the start of last season. I just said, hey, anyone else wants to like come out, so we've had a few regulars. We have about, I don't want to like give off this like wrong impression. We have, a banner, we have social media and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, usually we get between, 5 and maybe, 8 people. But the biggest thing is just getting to know each other, but also welcoming in people from Columbus. You're not actually the first people to like come from Columbus and happen to be in New York during a Crew game to like come hang out with us.
So
That's the best
we're
part.
Playing New York City
And then
We're in New York City watching it. So
while NYCFC is in Columbus.
Yeah.
So it's just been basically, I don't know. I guess I could be called like the organizer, but all I do is just basically post on social media like a maniac crew fan in New York City and just being like, I want to meet other crew fans. Who wants to come out?
I can't believe you weren't from Columbus.
No.
That's like the first time I've heard someone that's not like, I tripped and fell and I was in Crew Stadium. That's how I became.
I have to tell this story all the time because nobody, and I understand why. I'm a Mets fan. I'm a New York Giants fan. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm an Islanders fan. I'm also I am also a Columbus Crew fan. And even though we have two teams over here, when I was when I was writing the Nordeca piece, and like I said, I just fell in love with the club, and it's a special club, and I also just feel like my personality just jibes with the spirit of the club, and
you seem like a Columbus person.
Yeah.
You've been around enough New Yorkers, I'm just like, I saw you, I was like, that guy's from Columbus. Like, no, New York. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little sort of softer, I guess, but no, and I've got to make good friends, like legit, like I think good friends that still live in Columbus. We text a lot and exchange,
Do you get to Columbus often?
Not as often as I'd like, unfortunately. I haven't quite been able to afford it. But I did go back 2 seasons ago. I was at the Union home match 2 seasons ago in September of 2 seasons ago, which was great. And I got to reconnect with my friend Kara. I got to reconnect with my friend Joey out there. And
your
Chris.
mortal enemy, Chris. Yes.
And Chris actually was here last season for NYCFC.
Yeah. That checks out. That tracks. Well, we got the starting lineup. We also got Haas here. Haas, you can say hi. He's in the corner making sure all the stuff. He's like the producer. I don't know if this is even going to come out. I think it's still recording. We're also like in the line for the bathroom, so in the background if you hear, are you here for the pisser? It's like, are you peeing? It's like, I'm holding a microphone. I guess it's not like out of the ordinary, but I don't like hold a microphone while I'm waiting for the bathroom.
And again, I think the bathroom would be a great sound booth. We probably should have just locked ourselves in there.
All 3 of us walk out of the bathroom like with microphones. Welcome to New York.
Dude, I was just going to say, it's New York. We can get away with it, believe me. If we're going to get away with it anywhere, it would be here,
Oh, I love it. So I guess the big thing that we see in the lineup, let's talk quick about that.
Yeah, sure.
We'll get to the game, but that's Caesar, the Crew 2 guy, looks like he's starting. And you said he is starting what, in the back? I thought he was a back line.
on the right wing.
That is bananas.
One of the 3 midfielders is what they had him listed as.
Okay. Well, I don't even really know what to say. I think it'll be interesting at halftime to get our thing. But score prediction, what are you thinking?
Look, here's I feel compelled to say this, that even when we put out a lineup where there's at least one person there that we've never heard of, honestly, I just think this is such a great time to be a Crew fan, because for me, especially since we're playing at home, I'm still confident that we can at least get a result.
100%.
And that's a great place to be, because at some point, unfortunately, this great run that we're on is going to come to an end, and we're going to have matches sort of maybe like this where it's like, it's not looking good.
It's been really hard to complain about the team as we're undefeated going into the 5th game.
Yeah.
It's like, we're bummed out, and it's like, we keep winning.
Exactly.
We haven't lost.
And we're definitely gonna add on, during the transfer window.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, look, obviously I miss Cucho. I miss Aiden, but at the same time, this is also an opportunity for us to retool and reload, and that's exciting. To think that they have money to spend. Who are they going to spend it on? I mean, this is fun.
Probably Deshaun Watson. Realistically. All right. On that note, let's get drinks and let's go watch a game.
Sounds good.
Luckily, I don't see that many New York fans necessarily. There's a bunch of Michigan basketball fans behind it. So the people that are yelling are watching the Michigan basketball game.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I invited you, and I invited you to apparently a Michigan den. I'm sorry.
No, it won't be the last time. They follow us everywhere. But all right, well, go Crew. You ready?
Go. I'm ready and excited. Go Crew.
Let's get drinks. Let's do this.
This episode of the Upper 90 Club is brought to you, as always, by Supporter Supply Company. Hi, friends, this is your good pal Morgan Hughes, here to talk to you about a serious issue facing 96% of all crew supporters in Columbus. Why, not enough free shipping, of course. For a limited time now, through the eventual heat death of the universe, Upper 90 Club listeners can use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z on the end of it, at checkout for free delivery on absolutely any order over $10. But Morgan, what if I order $10 worth of stickers, or those goddamned buttons, or some other combination of small items that make you want to kill yourself? Will the free shipping still apply then, even as you curse our family, while you package up our little tiny annoying ass order for us? Of course it will. That's just how much we here at Supporter Supply value our friends at the Upper 90 Club. So head on over to supportersupply.co and use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z at checkout for free shipping on all your orders over $10. And don't forget to tell them that your friends at the Upper 90 Club sent ya.
Hey, what happened? Facts that could save your life.
Saturday, March 22nd, 2025, in the friendly confines of Lower.com, the crew faced off against NYCFC in front of a reported 20,235 crew faithful. The evening was clear but brisk, with the temperature reported around 44 degrees at kick, and in what seems to be a running theme this year, Nance's crew dominated in almost every meaningful statistical category. Possession, with an overall advantage of 60% to 40. Total shots 24 to New York's 5. 15 shots inside their box, 9 outside of the box for the crew. 1 shot off the woodwork, 8 block shots, the shots being blocked by NYCFC. The black and gold also led it in many of the passing stats, including an accuracy of 87%, with 621 total passes and 328 of those passes being in the NYCFC half of the field, and an outstanding 42 touches in the box of the boys in blue. And we cannot forget the most important meaningless stat, where the black and gold led in every category, XG, including an overall advantage of 1.48 to 0.16 for the Pigeons. Unfortunately, this game became a missed opportunity as the crew were only able to secure a point at home.
Good grief.
Starting for the crew, you had Evan Bush in for Schulte, who is currently on national team duty with the U.S. In the back, you had Chiberko, Zawadzki, and newcomer Ruvalcaba, as Marrera remained out with the leg injury. The midfield consisted of DeJuan Jones out left, Herrera out right, Nagbe and Shambost in the middle, and up top you had AZ, Rossi, and Russell Rowe. 9th minute, Rossi with the free kick from the left channel, swings it onto the far post where an on-running Zawadzki insteps it into the 6 and onto the head of Chiberko, who is unable to get over the top of the ball, and it sails over the goal of the NYCFC keeper Fries. 35th minute, NYCFC had a sub of Jonathan Shore for Keaton Parks. 38th minute, crew with the pressure on New York as they tried to play it out of the back. Nagbe wins the ball, drives it forward, loses it on a tackle, but the ball bounces backward right to the feet of AZ, who shimmies to the right and creates just enough space for a bending shot to the back post, past the outstretched arms of Fries. Unfortunately, it was about 4 inches to the right and careened off the post. 45th minute, right before half, Rossi takes a ball from Herrera. First touch bounces up, Rossi rockets the half volley towards the New York goal, and Fries again comes up big and parries it out for a crew corner. We go into half, tied at 0-0.
No, I think we're recording. Okay, we're good.
You should blame me. Remember, I'm the organizer.
Yes.
Already, I've taken over.
Not my fault. Never my fault.
The producer.
I'm a genius.
No, it's my fault.
Okay, first half, quick. We already discussed it for like 20 minutes. It was super great. You completely dissected the team, but
Yeah,
it didn't record. So
I'm going to say the same thing with not nearly as good energy as I brought it the first time.
100%.
But no, honestly, like I thought the first 20 minutes of this match were pretty boring. But you know, like you see a lot of times in football, soccer matches, you know, teams find their way into the game. And if there's one team that, you know, has done that better, it's the crew. So those last 25 minutes, I think we really found our attack, and happy about that. Happy about AZ's shift. New York's own Azil Jackson.
Yeah,
New York's own Azil Jackson.
which I didn't realize he's from New York. So immediately 10 minutes in was talking crap about AZ. I about got stabbed and shamed by everybody at the table.
That is a no-no at Crew York. Do not talk trash about Crew York someone.
Yeah.
Jackson.
And you've met his mother.
I met his mom, at the Red Bull match. I think it was the last regular season match last season. And fine, I'll put it this way: fine woman.
Yeah, emphasis on fine. So, what I want to do now is go around. We actually got the crew York. Meet the people. I say your name and how your crew origin story. You're wearing an old school crew badge.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
All right, with us we have Jesus. So explain to me. So he's here just flaunting his Mexican shirts, going to the finals for the first ever probably time that they can actually win CONCACAF. Yeah, tell me about how you fell in love with crew.
Yeah, so just followed soccer all my life. Never really had an MLS team. And then I moved to Columbus. Lived there for about a year and a half. So I became a season ticket member the year that I lived there. And yeah, I just really took off from there. Unfortunately, the year and a half that I lived there, missed out on the playoffs. Moved to Detroit, the MLS Cup year.
Yeah.
So I still drove down like 5 times. So I was still able to go to some games. And yeah, pretty much that was my origin story. And then now I'm living out here in New York. Yeah. Happy to be here. Oh my God! Happy to be here with the rest of New York, and I'm really excited to be playing in a final tomorrow. So really happy to watch that.
Very nice, very nice. Really hoping for the bronze. I mean, first is the worst, second is, and then third is the best. Bronze a pretty good color. But all right, so the second half just started up the bank. So we're gonna move.
And what did Azil do? Almost put it in again.
Hard to say because I wasn't looking. Yeah. So there that is. His mom probably super stoked. All right, we'll be back at the end of the game to tell you how bad we won.
58th minute, NYCFC subs in Ojeda for Fernandez. And 66th minute, Columbus with their first sub brings in Cole Maroka for AZ. 73rd minute, NYCFC with the double sub of Carrizo for Wolf and Reed for Baccarar. And Columbus brings on Academy product and Crew 2 player Tristan Brown for Ruvalcaba. The minutes that Tristan got were his first of the season and his first team call-up for the Crew. 84th minute, Nagby plays the ball looping over the top of the NYCFC defenders to an on-running DeJuan Jones who has seemingly timed his run perfectly. DeJuan tracks the ball down right before the inline and hits a lofted cross to the back post where Tristan Brown is waiting. Brown one-times it to Maroka, who takes one touch to his right and plays the ball through to Russell Rowe, who calmly finishes it to the left of the New York keeper Freese. The excitement, unfortunately, was short-lived as the play goes to VAR, where it somehow decided that DeJuan Jones was offside on the initial ball from Nagby. Personally, I did not see a camera angle that showed he was definitively offside, but my opinion really doesn't matter and the goal is disallowed. With that, the game ends at 0-0 and Columbus currently sits in 6th in the Eastern Conference on 9 points and 8th in the Supporter Shield standings. This was the third league match in a row where the Crew has tied, taking their overall record to 2 wins, 0 losses, and 3 ties. The Black and Gold will be back in action on Saturday, March 29th at 7:30 p.m. against DC United away at Audi Field.
Hello, Adam Hernandez here, fellow Crew fan and Columbus-based artist, muralist, and designer. When I'm not making art, I'm looking at art. And when I'm looking at art, I want it to come to life. That's why I made my new augmented reality prints. What's an augmented reality print, you may ask? Well, I make my really cool psychedelic art come to life in the palm of your hand. Check out my website, ahernandezart.com, or at ahernandezart to learn more. They're really rad. ahernandezart.
Hey there, listeners and friends of the pod. I'm here again to speak about how the Cappies did this last game that they had, and it's a special one. It's the first time ever that the Crew 2 has participated in what is the most historic competition in American soccer, the US Open Cup. They beat the New York Renegades 4-1 to start their first ever Open Cup run again, but the Renegades are a semi-pro team. They had a couple guys who have pro experience, including one of the defenders who played for the first division in Argentina, but a while back. So, not the competition that they're used to face, but still good win. The game was hosted at LDC, and it was good to see and hear all the fans who showed up. The match started pretty contested, with the Renegades having many more chances in the first 40 minutes or so. They, I think, understood that if they were to stay in the game, they had to score early and then bunker down. The Crew 2 was dominating possession, but true to what we've seen in the first couple games of their MLS Next Pro season, they were kind of struggling to break their defensive lines of the opposition. And it changed in the 44th minute after a corner. Newcomer center back Palacios and Ferdinand combined to our first ever Open Cup goal. It seemed to have been some kind of play that they have tried in the practice grounds, and it was nice to see it work. And then the Cappies would score again with Adu Gianfi in the last minute and go to the break up 2-0. The Renegades were showing signs of fatigue 30 minutes into the match, and being down 2 goals didn't help that. Tristan Brown would score our third, which was quickly followed by Adu Gianfin again getting his brace after a great pass from Chase Adams. The highlights were posted by the Capi Brava account on Blue Sky and Instagram, and you can find them on YouTube. I do recommend looking at the fourth goal. It was really nice. I'm still really high on Chase Adams, even though he hasn't scored yet this season. He was playing more of the Rossi role on this game, and he played really well, especially considering he was facing guys who were at times 15 to 20 years older than he was. The visitors scored a consolation goal with 10 to go. It was an absolute banger. I also recommend going to watch it. It was beautiful. And overall, was a great win, our first of the season. Too bad we let it go in, which extends our streak of no clean sheets to 28 games. And yeah, I think that we played well, but I think that the Cappies did play down to the Renegades level a couple times, especially in scoring opportunities. They could have been more critical. This game could have ended with a lot more goals to us if they had a little bit more bite to their play. The game aside, I want to vent a bit. I try to keep things positive when talking about the Cappies. It's a development team after all, and it's important to keep that into consideration. Also, one of the things that we're trying to do with Capi Brava and with leading this side of the Crew fandom is to really create a positive and non-toxic space for fans. And so I try to not be negative, but there's time for that too. I do wish to say that I think the Crew organization did a really poor job of marketing this game and drumming up interest for it. This is a historic competition and a chance to get new fans to come to a Crew or Crew 2 game, especially since it's a much cheaper night than the usual game for the first team, or either team really. And hopefully I think that the result will change how the front office is approaching this competition. We are facing a USL Championship team, so much harder competition in this next game, or at least more fans will come due to word of mouth alone. It was a great time to be at the stadium. So yeah, I'm going a little bit over time, but the next game for the Open Cup will be against Lexington Sporting or Sporting Lexington. I don't know. It will be at LDC again. It will be April 1st, not a joke, at 6 p.m. And tickets for the first Open Cup game were $10, $5 if you were a season ticket holder. So yeah, come and join, come and cheer for the Cappies. It's a weeknight, it's early, and they need your support. They're definitely going to need your support. The Cappies take on their next MLS Next Pro game against the Baby Messis down in Miami away. So they'll be traveling and they play on Sunday. Bye.
Thoughts and players.
All right, in the game. Game's over.
It is.
What do you think?
Well, I think this is one of those games that, it's just that bad luck soccer game that you get every once in a while. And, I think when we saw the lineups come out and we knew we had guys on international break, we knew we had guys hurt.
Red card.
I think all of us probably would have signed up for a point pregame, but then when you dominate like this, it's a little disappointing that we didn't get the W. We didn't get the goal that we needed. But.
Yeah, the 0-0 was super frustrating. Was he offside? I mean, we're not going to talk about it. I don't. Did you think? You thought he was offside? Alex is nodding his head. Yes. Okay, that's bullcrap. Got it.
Thank you for
I
that.
don't hand the mic to you.
Thank you for that colorful insight.
I did talk to some New York guys. I didn't realize there was a contingent of like 5 or 6 of them in the corner.
Yeah.
They were extremely welcoming. They're like, "You beat the crap out of us." I was like, I felt really bad because I was like, "We did."
Yeah.
We really beat.
But listen, you know, putting balls in the back of the net is the hardest thing to do in football. And, you know, we didn't have our best guys out there. So, you know, I don't know. It kind of makes sense to some degree. But yeah, still a little disappointing. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, we'll take it. And I liked how they played. We talked a little bit about this.
Yeah.
They had a lot of different ideas.
Yeah.
They didn't, you know, hit pay dirt with any of them. But I liked that they were trying a lot of different things. And they were constantly going forward.
Well, like, considering what you just said, like, it wasn't the normal guys. And they still had over 70% of possession.
76.
They were threatening. It's upsetting that we didn't get the goal. Yes. But it felt good. Like, to have young kids in there, different starters.
And Brown, who came in, was the second youngest player to make his debut in crew history. We were trying to debate who the first was. Does anybody have any ideas on who it might be? I thought it might have been Taha, but Taha's 21 or something like that. So there's no way it was him.
I can't think of anyone.
It had to have been a crew 2 guy the first year. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
I mean, so you watch a game like this, you remember that it's early in the season, and again, we had all these deficiencies with the starting 11 today. How good is this team going to be without Cucho? I mean, Aiden Morris is now long gone, but still, like, I mean, how good is this team going to be when we get into a rhythm? You know, when we have our starting 11, our number one starting 11 out there. I mean, I think we're going to be fine. And we're going to add in the summer. We talked about this before. I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think the response to the LAFC game at home was extremely positive. And since then, we've kind of like just gone back to the form we were previously without, you know, like I said, 2 of our best players. But I don't know. Honestly, New York is awesome. I love being here away. I don't know, Haas, what are you thinking?
Lots more soccer advantage. That's
it was.
what I've learned today.
Yeah.
You go to watch soccer in New York.
Yeah. The only bummer was that the NCAA tournament's on, and they definitely have that on the main one.
Not have the NCAA tournament on.
Yeah, I know.
It's March Madness.
And we also watched a lot of the NCAA tournaments.
Well, I'm just, I think I'll sign off on this.
Yeah.
Just thank you guys so much for coming. I'm glad that you had a good time.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad you've enjoyed New York. As I said, like, I'm a native New Yorker, so, you know, whenever, you know, people come to my city and they have a good time, like, I never get tired of hearing that. So I'm really glad that you guys came out. I'm glad we got to meet. I hope this isn't the last time.
And all we did was talk crap about Chris Omaki, and that's the best part of this entire podcast. You didn't get to hear it on, but, like, that guy.
Off mic, I was singing Chris's praises.
Right.
Very much so.
But, we'll believe you on that one.
But it was great meeting you guys. I hope it's not the last time we get to hang out.
And, we'll catch you when you come back in.
Yeah, definitely when I'm out in Columbus, which will definitely happen at some point, I'll hit you guys up. And if you come back to New York, you know, obviously, you know, for an away game, you know, we'd love to meet up. And
you'll be in Charlotte, so we'll hit up the Mecklenburg people.
Yeah, 100%. I love
awesome.
the Mecklenburg people. They're great. I missed that away fixture last year, but 2 years ago I was down there. Had a great time.
Awesome. All right, last thing we do is we say, go crew. Go
crew!
What time is it? Extra time! Morgan Combat!
Thanks everyone for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go crew!
All right, so Mark's going to do an intro.
Oh, he's here?
Yeah, he's in the bathroom.
Yeah, come on out, Mars. You're taking a poop.